Hey y'all, how are you doing? Hi you guys. Good morning. I'm wearing my conservative swimsuit today because I know that this is going to go on YouTube. I don't want to offend anybody's delicate sensibilities. Of course, right when I go live, somebody wants to text. Um Anyways, there's no booty cheeks out today, no thighs out today, no cleavage today. This is, family friendly. Hi. All right, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and get into it. So y'all know what I'm going to talk about, right? So a lot has been happening in, like black famous people. You know what I'm saying? So Sweetie and Quavo broke up, and then that Derrick Jxn stuff happened. And then there was a link between those two things that immediately stood out to me. And that is that men who have a deep desire to perform their goodness, if they want to perform being a good man or a good husband or a good feminist, we got to leave them alone. They ain't no good. They ain't no good. And I know this from my own life. I have a story up on my Patreon, which I'm not even going to recount because if I say that story in public, it's going to bring drama to me that I don't really want. But patrons know that I recounted a story about why I no longer fuck with men who loudly and proudly proclaim a feminist or womanist identity, because of a horrible experience that I had a few years ago. And so what I have learned is that when men are deeply invested in showing to the world and telegraphing that they are devoted, caring, loving, progressive, I love women, it's gonna be a no for me. It's gonna be a no for me. And what I saw with Quavo and Sweetie was they made such a big deal out of gifts, right? Like, it was such a big deal that Quavo was Birkins and house and car and bag and jewelry and look how much I love you, and look, I engraphed or embossed or what is it, monogrammed Icy Girl into the seats of this Range Rover, and look how much I love you. And it's like, and by the way, Sweetie played into that shit. He was like, if he love you, if he not buying you Birkins, and it's like, girl, he was buying you Birkins and cheating, right? Like, he was buying you special edition, limited edition G-Wagon and fucking other bitches, right? So it's not that, And so I just think that we do have to really think about, and by the way, this requires, I think, all of us, because we're socialized into capitalism, requires us to rethink, right, our desires and like what we're requesting from men. Because often I think men are taught that I give you things because I love you. I'm gonna tell this story because I don't care if he watches, and I'm not probably not gonna fuck with him again. But last year I had a little situation, right? A man did something real shady to me, okay? And he popped back up this year trying to be like, I'm gonna take care of you. I'm gonna fly out to see you. I'm gonna send you these flowers. I am going to apologize through deeds. That's what he said. I'm gonna apologize. And in my mind, I was like, okay, if that's what you want to do, like, I was thinking in my mind, I'm gonna make this man do the 12 trials of Hercules. Okay. Like if you think you owe me something, then prove it, right? Like, fly and buy me things, and I want this necklace, and you know what, I want a water pick, buy me that, right? Like, I was thinking, okay, if he's gonna sign up to do that, I'm gonna let you do that. But then, after he sent me, the first thing, I was like, I'm gonna have to continue to be bothered with it. Like, even after he does all this stuff, I don't want to be bothered with him. So why am I just going to put up with all of this shit and waste my time? I don't care about wasting his time, but wasting my time pretending like I'm really gonna fuck with you even after you do all this shit for me. I can buy all this shit myself. You know? And I just think that yeah, like, you can like gifts. I don't think that there's anything wrong with liking gifts, right? But I do think that if you are just gonna give me stuff after you fucked up, you know what I'm saying? Like, after you breached trust, after you fucked up, that's not. I'm gonna buy my own shit. Cause what is more important to me is time. For me. You can do what you want. And I do think that, like, in capitalism, especially for Black folks, so many, and I talked about this in the parental thing, I think so many of us have this thing with our parents where our parents were like, I bought you things. You have a roof over your head, don't you? You had food and heat and water. Like, the bills are paid, don't you? That's how you know I love you, because I didn't let you starve. And then as adults, we're like, but I needed affection. You know, like, we're like, but I needed attention and care and warmth, and this is great. Like, I'm glad we're not starving, but I actually needed, like, to intimacy. And I think that shows up in our romantic relationships too, where it's like, but, you know, and then, you know, Sweetie basically said that Quavo was cheating on her, fucking other bitches. Surprise, surprise, right? Like, a member of the Migos was cheating. And then he had the nerve, to be like, you're not the woman I thought you were. What? What? Wait a second. You cheated, right? And so, like, there's all of this thing where it's like, I bought you the fucking car. Isn't that what you wanted? I bought you the bags. I'm taking you to these events. Isn't that what you wanted? You know? And I was reading up yesterday about, you know, this idea of conspicuous consumption. You know, there is research that says that Black and Latino people are more likely to buy things to telegraph our social position, our socioeconomic status than white people, because we spend more time around people in a similar socioeconomic status. And so if we spend most of our time, if you're a Black middle class person, you spend most of your time around Black middle class people. If you're a Black poor person, you live among Black poor people. And so in order to differentiate yourself, you are buying things that can be shown, buying things that can be driven, because you want to say, I'm above you. I think that also plays out a lot in the gift giving too, especially around, let me not even go, but you know, around Valentine's Day, when the girls are showing off the Louis bags and the Gucci bags and that. And I'm like, what are your boyfriends? You know, because it's like, most Black people are poor. Most Black people don't have no money. Even if you're quote unquote middle class, you got student loans, you got rent, you got mortgage, you got car payment. Where are y'all finding? Everybody finding men who can take them on trips. Everybody's finding men who can buy Louis and Gucci and Prada, pop them tags. You know what I'm saying? But that is because we are all deeply invested in showing how much we are loved and cared for, and that stuff is socialized. So anyways, I was just, and you know what? The other thing, you know what the Sweetie thing really underscores for me, and it's the Beyonce thing, and it's all of the, you know, Halle Berry thing. Desirability does not insulate you from bullshit. You know, not often, but, you know, as I'm, you know, theorizing this stuff around beauty and desirability, people often say beauty and desirability are the same thing. I don't think they're the same thing. I think desirability is what people desire to extract from you. Desirability is the way that people approach you and want to use you as a symbol or a token, right? And so, Sweetie, mixed girl, beautiful girl, got all the right enhancements, right? Didn't go too far. I appreciate somebody who invests in surgery, but don't go too far. Okay, beautiful girl, good personality, very desirable. That didn't stop her from being dragged through the mud. Okay. All right, so now we are going to Okay, I'm just trying to keep up with all of the comments. My nails are long now, so it's hard for me to keep up with the comments. Oh, ooh, ooh, ooh. Do you find it pernicious that the gifts were taught to tether our worth to are useless? Do you find it pernicious? I think it's a combination of, we live in a super hyper materialist society, right? Like in the West and in the United States in particular, it's super materialistic, right? And so we are taught to, like, I talked about this in the Laverne Cox podcast. It's not just that our value as people is tied to what we can consume. It's our value and our identity as Americans is taught to what we can consume. You know, like, that's why, I mean, if we're going to go back to, like, oh God, let me not go here. But it's like, why, the accommodations clause, right? Like, in the Civil Rights Act, right? Like, that stuff is so important because it's like, because I am a citizen, you cannot deny me the right to patronize your business, right? I'm a citizen. I'm a person. So you cannot deny me the right to spend my money here. And I think that if you're an American, right, so much of our beingness, right, our humanness is tied to what we can consume. And then you add the racial stuff on top of that. Then it's like, oh, I'm black, right? Or I'm Hispanic, like, based on the research. And so I am trying to show to you that I am valuable and I'm a human and you must respect me. And I have status because I can buy these things. I think it's so freaking deep. All right. So let's move on to the Derrick Jxn thing. So Derrick Jxn is another man who has made his entire brand on performing goodness. I do not watch those videos. I've always wondered what draws people to that. It is not for me. It is super not for me. But it's also super not for me because I don't listen to male relationship experts. For what? For what? Okay. So Derrick Jxn, it came out that he cheated on his wife and they split up last year. And then he and his wife decided to get together and make a little video, like a short video. And then they did a longer live video. And honestly, it was a mess, but it was an effective mess. So, Derrick Jxn has spent all of these years telling women this is what you need to do to find a good man, and men, this is what y'all need to do. And apparently he went back and forth with John Gray for a second, and obviously he was cheating. Obviously. Okay, so it came out that he was cheating on his wife, and then he and his wife initially sat down to do a video where he talks about the time, and they talk about how they got back together, and it was a lot, you guys. It was a lot happening. And okay, I am not a mental health expert, so I cannot analyze Danae. I can't give her a diagnosis or a prognosis. But okay, if the aim was to telegraph strength and unity, and I'm past this, like, thank God, if not, but for the grace of God, like, and it's like, girl, you still look like you in the struggle. You still kind of, and okay, now we don't, I believe that we should show up exactly how we feel, right? So if Danae wants to wear, I thought it was a bonnet, it's not a bonnet. If she wants to wear the glasses and bare face and knit beanie, that's fine. But it's not giving what you think it's giving. It's not giving what you think it's giving. Like, okay. So here's the thing, right? Like, I don't have makeup. Well, okay. So here's, like, baby girl, you don't want to just do a little swipe, a lip gloss, right? Like, I come on here, I don't have foundation on, but you know, I'm trying to look like a little something. You know, it's like a swipe of lip gloss. It's like a little tiny bit of mascara, right? It's like, let me put some luminizer on, right? Let me give you a morning glow. Okay. So that's why people are like, she looks like she needs help. Like, Danae, like, blink twice if you need help. Like, are you okay? You know, like, she didn't look super enthused to be there. And then they did a live after that, and he was like, and by the way, Danae is beautiful, right? And people are like if you look at her Instagram, Danae is a bad bitch. You know? And so that's why people are like, baby, what's going on? Like, what's happening? You know? And so in the live video, Derrick made it a point to say, whose idea was it to go live? Whose idea was it to go live? And she was like, it was my idea to go live, you know? But this is the thing. I don't want to, y'all are roasting in the comments. I'm trying not to do that. I'm just giving what I see. But I do want to give her grace because obviously the woman is in the throes of toxic Christianity. And I brought this up in the video about Paige and Chris. The Christianity that is taught to Black women encourages us to accept a lot of bullshit. The Christianity that Black women in particular are fed encourages us to be doormats, to be long-suffering, right? There is the idea that if you have not worked for it, if you have not bled, if you have not emotionally sacrificed yourself, martyred yourself, that it's not worth it, you know? That joy comes in the morning, there's glory after the struggle and all that. And it's like, but why do I have to struggle? Why? Life is short. You only get one life. I'm gonna spend my life struggling, tormented, just so for the promise of something on the other side. And so when they were both sitting there, you know, talking that spirituality shit, you know, quoting scriptures, talking about God, talking about how they made it through, I'm like, and that's why I don't want no part of that. I don't want no part of that. I want to live my best life. Okay? You know? Like, I don't want that. But I get that for a lot of people, it brings them peace. Like, we tell ourselves the stories that we need to tell ourselves in order to get to the next place. It's fine. It just seemed very toxic to me, right? Very manipulative. And I do think often that men who have power manipulate their relationship to Jesus, manipulate their relationship to Christianity in order to draw in women who are looking for a reason to believe, who are looking for a reason to stay. And so it just seems so familiar to me, you know? But I will say, you know, I was thinking like, God, the thing is, and the reason why first of all, I have questions about, so I am a little bit skeptical of why she decided to join in on the grift, because a part of their thing now is we've come through that horrible traumatic place, and now we wrote this book and I'm gonna help you. Is your nigga cheating? Read this book and you can get over it. And I'm like, okay, so now Danae, you're not just a long suffering wife. Now you are participating in a grift that could potentially ensnare other women. And that's where I have to be like, like, she even said she will not feed into the shackles and entrapment of divorce. She said that. Okay. Ugh, yikes. Yikes. Somebody said the bonnet appeared to be strategic on his part. Men online have been comparing her to the side chick, saying women should keep a man the way she got him. Ooh. I don't know about that. I just think I understand, because I do this. I make content that something like that, something that's gonna go super viral like that, I want to show up. I'm not sure if he did enough to convey to her hundreds of thousands of people are going to watch this video. Okay, if we are talking about putting our best foot forward, we're healed, we're whole, we're happy. We do want the presentation, just aesthetically, right? We're just talking about optics, and all this shit is about optics. I don't give a fuck if Derrick is trying to be like, I just want y'all to know I'm not perfect. I just want y'all to know you're selling us, Derrick. Right? This is not about transparency. You're selling us shit, Derrick. This is a grift. So if you're trying to sell it, then sell it. Make sure everybody comes up, right? Make sure everybody comes to the table looking like y'all trying to sell us some shit. Okay. Okay. So, yeah. So, he wore a shirt that said black men don't cheat. That's the thing. So one thing that I can empathize with is, the trap of being an influencer, right? Where you are telegraphing certain parts of your life and sharing things, and you're trying to strategically share things because you know that if you share the whole thing, that makes you vulnerable. But that is why I have been trying to be very intentional recently about saying my shit is fucked up. Okay, if some shit comes out about me, just know my shit is fucked up. Now I don't have no man, so I'm not cheating, I'm not stealing, I'm not doing illegal things, but if you see some texts, no, I'm just kidding, there's nothing, but I'm just trying to lay it out there, okay? Kimberly is not perfect. There's nothing. But anyways, we love cozy casual, but I just think that there is a different way to do cozy casual. The other thing is, somebody sent me some posts that Danae had posted on her Instagram, about how she had suffered for a long time with low self-esteem, and she was jealous and she was bitter. Oh, and that's the other thing, right? So this is not Derrick's first time cheating. So y'all know, y'all know that I am not somebody who thinks that cheating automatically has to be a deal breaker, because I listen to Esther Perel. I think that people can work through cheating. In fact, people work through cheating every day. Like, cheating is very, very common. Okay, so, but she was saying that he cheated while they were dating. And then they broke up, and then they got back together, and then now, now I don't know if you need to take somebody back if they cheat on you while you don't have legal ties. Like, Like, if I understand if you have children with somebody, if you've made a life, but if we're just dating, and you're cheating, like, that's a bad sign. That's a bad sign. You don't have to do that. So anyways, I think that, like, when I was thinking about their decision now, and then Derrick, I went back this morning and he made a reaction video to the video, and it's like, it's just so much selling shit. But like, that is what we are taught to do. We are taught to monetize. And by the way, I fall into this trap all the time. We are taught to monetize every part of our lives, every part of our trauma. I've certainly monetized my trauma in different ways. And we even see the most famous people in the world doing it, right? It's like Danae and Derrick are just following the Beyonce and Jay-Z blueprint of, oh, this is how you get over cheating, and now we're happy, and come buy our shit now and watch us be a happy couple. Right? Like, this happens on all kinds of levels. He married her because she has low self-esteem, was completely done by that time. He'd worked at breaking it down. That is who he fell in love with as well. Yeah. Now, I don't know. Look, I can't say that he married her because he knew she had low self-esteem. I don't know. I'm just saying that she has said that she used to have really low self-esteem. And that's hard. And it's especially hard. Look, and this is why I say these men got to stay in the back. Okay, I'm not trying to be with no man. When I talk to men and they say that they want to do YouTube, or they want to do Instagram or TikTok, or be, public intellectuals. I don't date men who say that they want to do TikTok or YouTube. But, when, they say they want to be a public intellectual and they're going to write books, I'm like, I don't know if this is going to work out. Because it's only room for one star in this relationship. Not that I'm a star, right? But I'm in the public, right? Because I need my partner to be in the back. Okay? You need to be in the back. Okay? And so I'm really wary of men who are constantly, I'm not trying to have no power couple. I'm really wary of men who are trying to create platforms and do this. And that's great. That's great for you. That's great for you, baby. Okay? But you can't, because it's too much. It's too much. It's a liability. Okay. So, but here's the other thing, right? So when I'm talking about, these men who perform and buy things and do things and love the spectacle, something that I have been trying to really grapple with and just realign myself with in my dating life now is effort does matter, right? Like, I want to know that you are putting forth effort, that you're going to do things, that you're going to show me that you're committed. And so I think, as a person who dates men and masculine people, finding the balance between the appropriate amount of effort, the appropriate amount of spectacle, because you also don't want to be, at the bottom of the totem pole. You also, if you are a person who dates men and masculine people, you don't want to be an afterthought. You don't want to be a secret. So what is, and this is something I think about all the time, what's the correct balance to strike between the right amount of effort, the right level of gifts, the right level of affirmation and public spectacle, and performance? I think it's obviously, we all have our own boundaries around that, but I think we have to give some real thought to what's the boundary gonna be. Marriage is a business deal. Yeah. she has posts where she was so insecure, she was watching videos of him having sex with women she found on his phone and wondering if he was cheating because she wasn't secreting fluids like them. What? What? Oh my God! Oh, you know what I forgot to mention? This is a very special vacation edition of Satin Pillow Talk. That's why I'm on Galveston Island right now. But that's crazy. First of all, if you are married, why are you recording yourself having sex with random women? If you are married, why are you keeping stranger bitch porn on your phone? I don't get it. Why? And comparing body shape and skin tone. Oh, is that why y'all were talking about dark-skinned women? Did he cheat with the dark-skinned woman? Is that why y'all were talking about dark-skinned women on Twitter? Oh my God. It's too much. It's too much. All right. So my last thing on this, you know what my last notes on this are, so the fact of the matter is, right? If you date men, if you're a woman who dates men or desires to be in relationship with men or have any kind of intimate sexual hookup thing with men, you're gonna have to prepare yourself for some embarrassment. Like, honestly, it's basically inevitable at this point. Just from the way that men are socialized to be psychopaths and sociopaths, from the way that we as women and feminine people, the way that we're socialized to accept that shit, like, it's probably gonna come, right? And so you have to decide, what are you gonna do when the embarrassment happens, you know? And then how can you spot the red flags so that you can escape, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, slide down the escape hatch when you get the embarrassment red flags. And I feel like often the base level, the advice is, you know, well, just don't date men. You know what I'm saying? Leave men alone. I say leave men alone. I be trying to leave men alone, right? And, you know, it's like beauty is a bad investment. Men are a bad investment, right? But we still do it, right? We still engage with it. And so if you are going to invest in men, like, how can you get as little trauma as possible from it? You know what I'm saying? Like, how can we not be hurt? And I feel like often the advice is, well, just fuck men on the side, but don't engage with them deeply romantically and don't have any, you know, and it's like, keep it surface level, and, you know, and it's like, that's not good advice, you guys. He was cheating while she was pregnant. I don't actually believe that you are what you attract. Why it's so annoying. Which is why it's so annoying seeing shallow hot takes about how Christianity tells black women who stay with cheaters. The Bible clearly says it's okay to divorce a cheater. Yeah, but the Bible also is so patriarchal and filled with so many abusive men who are God's chosen people, right? And then Christianity, right? Like, the structures of Christianity themselves are so patriarchal that even if it's not explicitly stated in the Bible, you should stay with the cheating man. Not only does the text of Christianity, right, the central text, the Bible, and the dogma of Christianity, like, encourage women to suffer, right? And say that the men who are the most like I just think that it makes perfect sense that women would glean from the teachings of Christianity as somebody who spent 26 years being hardcore Black Southern evangelical Christian. That kind of abuse and inappropriateness is so common. It's so common. So the structures of Christianity, the dogma of Christianity is certainly not deterring men from behaving inappropriately. It's certainly not stopping men from being abusive and wielding their power in a way that is very, very harmful to women. And there are no sanctions. So for men who are horrible and abusive and neglectful and cheating, the other thing is there are no consequences. So, right, if Christians, not we, because I'm culturally Christian, but, I don't be going to church like that. If Christianity is really going to be serious about creating a faith that is affirming for women and Black women in particular, then y'all probably need to do a better job about weeding out men who are doing wrong, about administering consequences, about shaming them the way that women are shamed for everything. That's structural. That's structural. Those are choices. Okay. So what was I going to say next? Oh, okay. The bad advice. Okay. So we know that men are socialized to be horrible and violent, emotional terrorists. And so if you're a woman who is drawn to men, the easy advice is to say, okay, decenter romantic relationships, stop investing in men, divest from men, invest in your friendships, build up a life outside of that. And I think that's fine, right? We can keep telling people that. But, and I have had to do work to make it a point to say the love and the care that I most desire is going to come from my soulmates. And my soulmates are a group of women that I met at Harvard College 13 years ago. 14 years ago. Those are my soulmates. It's just a completely different reimagining. But even though I have chosen to structure my life that way, that doesn't mean I don't still want romantic shit. That's a different thing. And so simply telling women to divest from men, decenter men, get some, oh my God, the black cat. Oh my God, you guys, wait. I'm going to show you. The black cat is back. Look at it. Sorry, anybody who watches my Instagram stories. Oh my God. Sorry, that really freaked me out. Okay. Whew. So, I think it's important, right? Like, we need to build up alternatives in our lives so we don't have to pour everything into men. But our connection to men, right, is not just about choices, right? So like we can talk about how we are socialized into patriarchy and cis heteropatriarchy in particular, but it's also structural, right? There are all of these, our society is built for men and women to get together. So, when women are choosing to partner men and marry men, there are also so many incentives, structural incentives for them to do that. So we can't just talk about it in terms of just make a different choice. But also, as a feminist woman who likes to have sex with penises, right? Theory is easy, living is hard, right? Do you think I like being attracted to men? Do you think I like being attracted to masculine people? It's a no. It's because because there is something distinct about the interaction with the man that simply cannot be replicated with my friendships, with my familial relationships, with my connection to my nieces. It just cannot be replicated. And so I don't know if as feminists, when we're telling people, just don't fuck with him, just don't fuck with man, girl, that we're being honest about the fact that, as somebody who has even recently felt that butterflies feeling, who has recently felt did he watch my Instagram stories today? Like, oh my God, like, he texted me and like, he told me I was pretty, like, oh my God. I've recently felt that feeling. My friends cannot give me that feeling. It is distinct. Okay? My friends, I'm not having FaceTime sex, intimate, deep FaceTime sex with my friends. You know what I'm saying? I love them. They get me better than anybody else gets me. I know that they're going to be here, right? I'm not going to put anybody before them. But my friends are not going to, this is going to be graphic. My friends are not going to like penetrate me while looking me deeply in the eyes and telling me how beautiful I am and how much they love me. Like, they can't do that. So we have to be honest about the fact that if we are going to change the structure of our lives, right? If we're going to say that men are no longer going to be at the center, that we're not going to contort ourselves and conform to be liked by men, right? To be picked, that there are things that you're going to forego, right? I have decided that there are things that I'm just not going to do. There are places I'm not going to go. I'm not going to change myself to be partnered. But I also acknowledge that means that sometimes I'm not going to be picked. That I'm going to have to deal with romantic loneliness that is distinct. It's a distinct thing that no sex worker can fill for me, that no friendship can fill for me. It's just going to be empty. And that's fine, right? Because there's no such thing as having it all. Right? There's no such thing so you just have to choose what you're gonna deal with. So at this juncture in time, I have accepted that there's a certain amount of nigga bullshit that I'm gonna deal with because I want somebody not to be too graphic, right? But you know what I'm saying? There's a certain amount of nigga shit that you're gonna have to deal with if you want the butterflies feeling. And it's a fun feeling, right? There's a really distinct feeling of being in love with somebody and the world stops. You're floating. And I really feel like, as hetero feminists, we gotta be honest. I'm not getting the floating feeling from my friends. But anyways, right? I do think we have to think about, is it worth it? There are things that I simply will not accept because it's not worth it to me, right? My time is important to me. My dignity is important to me. My autonomy is important to me. So there's going to be trade-offs there. Okay. I'm trying to go through these comments, you guys. I wish I could just raise kids with some friends, cousins and grandma, instead of having to pick a man. I think you can still do that. Don't you think it normalizes even the little things that they build up eventually? I don't believe that every person is inevitably going to get to abuse. Because I am not perfect either. Right? I do crazy shit too. I'm not an abuser. And so I think what I've been trying to do is be really proactive when things come up to say, you did this thing and I didn't like that thing. So don't do that thing again. And then if you do it again, then I have to say, oh, you're not going to be responsive to my needs, so I have to go. But also to create a space where somebody, because I violate people's boundaries too. So if did I do something that you didn't like, let me know. I don't want to do that thing. When I used to think about how much I loved my husband, I literally wanted to cry. 2 years into our marriage, he cheated and it was over. Never asked him to come back. Never slipped with intimacy. You're strong. What do you think it takes for these men to change? I think there have to be consequences, right? And that's the other thing about putting all of this onus on women to be like, make better choices, divest. You don't need him, girl. Who cares about butterflies? You know what? When it's like my desire for that romantic intimacy is natural, right? Like if we are on our sexualities are natural and normal, right? Maybe the way we're socialized around participating in romance is unnatural. Maybe the way we're socialized into making all of these negotiations around our sexuality is unnatural. But I am somebody who believes that there are base innate desires that are natural. And for some of us, not all of us, because there are some people who are aromantic, but for some of us, our desire to feel that thing is natural. So we can't just tell women like, don't do it, girl. We also need to be levying some consequences on these men when they are abusive, when they violate people's boundaries, when they violate people's trust. And that is still what we are having a problem with now, right? Is men don't have no consequences. What is Quavo gonna have any consequences for being a cheater? No. Is Derrick gonna face any consequences? No. In fact, he's gonna come up off of this. He's gonna monetize it. Other men would have to start embarrassing their peers to make that change, right? Unless there are social sanctions, it's not going to change. His followers went up? Oh. His followers went up? Oh. Just saying, hey, he's definitely gonna make more money. Yes, call them all out. Anyways, that's all I have to say, right? I think as women, like, I'm trying to be really clear about what my boundaries are and not overlooking things, not giving men the benefit of the doubt. I've said this a couple times. I don't give men the benefit of the doubt. If you're giving me a reason to question you, I'm gonna just assume that you're doing it. I'm going to bring it up, right? I'm going to say, hey, you did this thing. And then you can like tell me why you did this thing. And then I'm going to say, oh, I'm out. Sometimes those little things we can talk through. But if you're not giving me like the exact response that I need if I have a question, I got to go. Life is short. I'm grown. I got bills. This health insurance premium ain't gonna pay itself. I got work to do. But that's just about setting good boundaries and sticking to those boundaries and, yeah, you have to choose. Yeah. And it's unfortunate. I am not somebody who can have casual sex. I like to have sex with people I feel a connection to. And I think a lot of women feel the same way. And that's why we're always going to be tethered in some way to enduring this bullshit. Oh, his following went up 200,000. But wouldn't that be cyclical if all men, I don't think all men behave in the exact same way. I think for some, there's some kinds of bullshit that I just am not going to put up with. But as I mentioned, if you are going to be engaging intimately with men, something's going to come up. But you have to decide, is it bullshit that you can deal with? For the vast majority of people, it's not bullshit that I can deal with. You know? And so that's also why, if we're really going to get into this, that's also why when people try to shame women for being single, when people try to throw in your face that they have a partner, that they've been picked, that they have a man, I often want to say, but I don't, I probably don't want your man. You have probably endured things and put up with things that I would never endure or put up with. Because I understand in a patriarchal society, in a cis hetero society, that in order to keep a man, in order to be with a man long term, in order to stay, then you've probably been through some things. You've seen some things, okay? You're a survivor of war. And what if I don't want to do that? What if that doesn't interest me? So I do think that, like, women who brag about being partnered and let me show you how I got this ring and look at what he does for me, it's like, but girl, I know that in our society, you've gone through a lot to get that ring. You know, it's like, I feel that way when Cardi be saying that stuff. And it's like, girl, but we've seen it. Okay. All my friends have fucked up marriages, but always asking when I'm meeting someone. Anyways, I think that that's it. Yes, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to be partner with men, you know? So that's why we need to, I try not to shame the married women who be going through it, the partner women who be going through it. We can't shame single women because we're all suffering. And we're all just trying to figure out, we're all trying to navigate this bullshit as best we can. You know, and so we will grab on to whatever bullshit text or theory or idea to help us navigate this bullshit. Maybe it's Christianity. I don't know. Maybe it's Brene Brown. I don't know. Glennon Doyle. I don't know. Iyanla Vanzant, right? Like, we're all just we're all drowning basically, and we're looking for life rafts. So I make it a point not to make fun of women who deeply invest in what I think is nonsense. Okay, I gotta go. Oh shit! I have to be out of here in 45 minutes. Okay, sorry, I have to get out of this Airbnb. I need to pack. You guys, okay, bye. I forgot. Like, I don't live here. Okay, bye. And maybe I will also maybe upload to YouTube my Instagram stories, because I've been like Instagram storying my little vacation. But okay, bye.